When I first started Zepbound back in February, I was doing research, watching YouTube videos, and I kept hearing about how you needed to focus on protein and fiber especially. And really people were focusing on getting 100 grams of protein at least per day. At the time that felt pretty impossible. I was getting around 65 grams of protein a day probably, and my fiber intake was pretty bad. It was around probably 10 to 15 grams of fiber per day. Whereas for an adult woman, the daily intake of fiber is recommended to be at least 25 grams. So I wanted to talk in this video about how I, through the months, have added protein and fiber to my diet and things that I've swapped in my diet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and how these swaps have actually been easier than I thought. And I'm now routinely getting over 100 grams of protein in my diet every day and 35 to 40 grams of fiber. And if you're new here, my name is Tamara, and I have been on a GLP-1 Zepbound since February of this year, 2025. I did take a 7-week break in that time, so I've been on Zepbound for about 8 months now. And my ultimate goal is to lose 100 pounds, so I'm almost halfway there, and I would love it if you would join me on my journey. Please subscribe if you can. It's free to subscribe to my channel, and just join me on this journey, and I'll share with you what I eat in a day videos. I do a weekly weigh-in and also highlight some of the swaps I'm making in my diet or new things that I'm trying. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's get into it, starting with breakfast. I should say that I've been using MyFitnessPal for years now. And so I was able to go back in MyFitnessPal in my diary and just kind of refresh my memory about what I was eating regularly. And so in the past, starting with my coffee in the morning, I would regularly have an iced coffee that I would make at home. I have a Keurig, and I would make a 16-ounce iced coffee. So the coffee was very few calories, maybe 5, but I was adding Chobani sweet cream creamer to this every morning. And I actually do really like this creamer. It has very few ingredients, and I think it's one of the much better options out there. In 2 tablespoons of creamer, which I was using at least that much, and honestly, I wasn't measuring, so that probably wasn't great either, but 75 calories in 2 tablespoons, 10 grams of sugar, 0 protein, and of course, 0 fiber. So I was having one of those every morning. I think actually I made this change before I started Zepbound, that I got an espresso machine and really started enjoying lattes. And so now I make a latte or 2 every morning. So if I have 2 lattes, that equals about 16 ounces. I use 2% milk, organic milk, the Good and Gather brand, which is about 180 calories, 18 grams of sugar, that is natural sugar, 12 grams of protein, and 0 fiber. So I've definitely increased my protein in my morning coffee just by making this swap from iced coffee with creamer to a hot latte using 2% milk. And then I've always been a fan of yogurt for breakfast, and I'm also someone who always eats breakfast in the morning, unless I'm rushing, trying to catch a flight, or just trying to get to work early for some reason. So I've always been a fan of yogurt in the mornings, and so this brings us to the next swap I've made. I used to always get Dannon Light and Fit vanilla yogurt. 5.3 ounces of the Light and Fit vanilla has 80 calories, 10 grams of sugar, and 5 grams of protein. And so I would have one of these every morning. I would add to it the Market Pantry dark chocolate cashew butter granola, which is super, super good, as it sounds, but also higher calorie, higher sugar. For half a cup, 240 calories, 13 grams of sugar. It does have 5 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber, so pretty good numbers in that area. But I have since swapped these 2 for the yogurt. I've swapped for Fage 0% Greek yogurt, and 5.3 ounces has 80 calories, so the same as the Light and Fit, 5 grams of sugar, so half the amount of sugar, and 16 grams of protein, so over 3 times the amount of protein. And I've actually found that I've gotten used to the flavor of this and actually prefer it now, and I prefer the thicker, creamy texture. A side note is that I use a tablespoon of this Greek yogurt as a sour cream substitute also. And then for my granola swap, I've actually swapped for the Nature's Path pumpkin seed and flax granola. And for half a cup of this granola, there are 173 calories versus 240 for the old chocolate cashew granola. 7 grams of sugar, so about half the amount of sugar, 4 grams of protein, and almost 3 grams of fiber. So slightly lower on the protein and fiber, about a gram each, but definitely great in that it has less sugar and fewer calories. And then I've added to my yogurt in the mornings raspberries, usually around 10 raspberries, which have about a gram of fiber. And I've just recently, in the last couple of weeks, started adding chia seeds, a tablespoon of chia seeds. And these are another great source of fiber. So I'm getting another almost 4 grams of fiber in 1 tablespoon of chia seeds that I sprinkle on top of my yogurt. And for a snack, I used to have, it kind of just varied. I would have sometimes just like crackers, or I really liked the home style popcorn. So I just looked that up real quick to do a comparison with what I have now, which is the Built Puff protein bars that I really enjoy. So the light popcorn, the home style popcorn, 6 cups popped, had 260 calories, 4 grams of protein, and 4 grams of fiber. Whereas now my Built Puff protein bar has 140 calories, 17 grams of protein, and 1 gram of fiber. So a little lower on the fiber there, but much better across the board with the other numbers. Even with these swaps, I was still struggling with my fiber intake. So I think it's been maybe 2 or 3 months ago now that I found the Mission Tortilla carb control wraps, and I get the whole wheat tortilla wrap. So previously for lunch, I was having a sandwich using the Sara Lee artisanal bread, which 2 slices have 200 calories, 8 grams of protein, and 2 grams of fiber. And the Mission Tortilla wrap, I use 1 wrap, which has 60 calories, 5 grams of protein, and 18 grams of fiber. So I was really able to increase my fiber intake just by making that 1 swap. So I've been really excited about that, actually. And then another addition I've made, I've always liked avocados, but I've started eating at least half an avocado a day, and I'll add these to my wrap at lunchtime. Sometimes I'll add them to eggs on toast with some shredded cheese and then have avocado with that. And so that's been a really good addition to add fiber as well. There's about 4 grams of fiber in half an avocado. And in the past, the evenings is when I struggled the most with what to eat. It would just often be pretty random. Sometimes it would be like a bowl of cereal for dinner, or popcorn, or I used to even do DoorDash quite a bit, which of course is expensive. And I mean, there's some healthy options you can get on there, depending on what restaurants are in your area, but overall just not a good option for the wallet or for the diet. So I haven't done DoorDash in months and months. So that's been a really good change. So for dinners now, I've kind of rotated mostly between 3 things. So I like to make a chicken tortilla soup in my slow cooker. So if you've been watching the channel for a bit, you know that. But that packs really impressive numbers across the board. It's a little higher calories, 620 calories, but 13 grams of fiber, 51 grams of protein. And this is counting what I put on top, which is avocado, shredded cheese, and some of my Fage 0% Greek yogurt. So I'm able to get really good numbers from that meal. And then I also really enjoy the salmon Milano from Costco. And I add roasted sweet potatoes, the microwave in the bag option from Target, and I make asparagus to go along with that. So that gives me 436 calories for a 7-ounce serving of salmon, along with the 2 sides, and 4 grams of fiber and 37 grams of protein. And then I usually make one of those 2 options for my work week. And then when those run out, I'll often just do eggs on toast with those toppings. And so that gives me pretty good numbers. Also, each egg has 6 grams of protein, and a 1/4 cup of the shredded cheese has 6 to 7 grams of protein. And then adding the fiber from the avocado. So those are some easy swaps that I've made so far, and I'm always looking for new things to try. I enjoy watching what I eat in a day videos from different people in the GLP-1 community on YouTube. I've enjoyed the oats overnight. That's something new I've tried. It's a good option if I'm in a hurry in the mornings. It gives me 15 grams of protein and it's actually pretty filling. I was surprised how filling one of those is, and it's just real quick and easy. You just add milk or water the night before, shake it, put it in your fridge, and then the next morning shake it again and drink it. So that's been a really good option. But yeah, I just really enjoy seeing what other people are trying or recommending. I would encourage you, if you're just starting out or if you're wanting to kind of change up what you're eating each day, to just watch different creators and what they are eating. I do plan to film another what I eat in a day video tomorrow. So after my weekly weigh-in, after I weigh myself tomorrow morning, I'll turn on the camera and show you guys what I'm having for breakfast and just what I'm having throughout the day. I did run out of Built Puff bars, so I either need to go to Costco tomorrow or just do without my Built Puff bar for the day tomorrow. But I'll film that and get that up in a couple of days. But yeah, I just encourage you to keep an eye on what other people are doing, get ideas from them. And I hope you'll continue watching and just seeing the new things that I'm trying as well. So I hope this short video was helpful to you, and until next time, let's keep moving forward together. Take care, friends.